What's up, people of the internet? My name is Dabacab. Today we're going to go over the second game of the Artifact Grand Finals Tournament. So yesterday we covered the first game of the Artifact Grand Finals Tournament, in which Joel Larson, aka Heffa, beat Mogwai, and today we're going to cover the second match. So we are going straight into the game, and we've got Mogwai on the bottom and Heffa up at the top. And I think even though you can use the same decks, or you can alternate your decks in between, you can make modifications to it, as many as you want. It looks like we've got the same decks on both sides, or at least the same heroes. So in this first lane, we've got these heroes killing each other off, and probably not much else. Mogwai can't cast anything. He doesn't have enough mana. Heffa can actually cast a lot. He could cast Slay, which doesn't help him much, just saves a creep. Disciple Nevermore, which also doesn't help him much, or No Accident, which doesn't help him much either. So Heffa has a lot of options, but we're probably not going to see any of them because they're just not really going to help the situation. So I'm expecting passes all around. Yep, that's exactly what happens. All right, and in lane 2, Lycan got lucky. He dodged the bristleback. All right, so what are the plays here? Once again, Mogwai can't do anything. Does Heffa want to play anything? Disciple of Nevermore isn't really going to help him. It's going to hurt him more than it helps him, actually. Slay doesn't really help him. And once again, no accidents. So we're just passing. Like, the direct damage isn't going to kill anything. There's no big creeps to Slay. So we just pass. And here is the first time we're probably going to see a card get played. I'm predicting a no accident. Yep. Because that's going to put the Treant Protector in lethal range, and it's going to open up the lane for Sorlakan to smack into that tower next turn for massive damage. So for that reason, we're probably going to see a hero get deployed into lane 3 for Mogwai next turn, because he's probably very eager to stop that Sorlakan as quickly as possible. So I'm expecting Debbie to come down into lane 3. Meanwhile, we have Abaddon coming down. My guess, Abaddon will be in lane 1 because he doesn't want Abaddon to come down in front of Bristleback. Yeah, and lane 1 is still winnable. I mean, like, of course, all lanes are winnable. I'm just saying that right now that lane is empty, so you may as well put a hero in there and hopefully start winning it. Plus, taking lane 1 is slightly better than taking lanes 2 and 3. The question is, where is Debbie going? Yeah, that's what I thought. Because he has a hipfire, so he knows that as long as he holds onto that card until lane 3, then he can potentially hipfire that Sorlakan. And there's also a chance, of course, that the creep can drop in front of Sorlakan, which will just kill her off by herself, potentially. Surprised Heffa didn't buy any items. Oh no, Debbie's in front of it. Okay, so then we're definitely going to see hipfire in lane 3, I'm thinking. Okay, so we have Bronze Legionnaire, Stonehall Elite. Nothing can be cast in this lane. Heffa will probably play Savage Wolf. Probably. Because the sooner you can get out that Savage Wolf, the better. So that's going to start growing bigger and bigger and bigger. It's real bad news for Mogwai. In this lane, we have the Bristleback set up to gain some armor. That's fantastic. It might be worthwhile to play a Bronze Legionnaire or a Stonehall Elite. Ideally, you play the Stonehall Elite in front of a creep, though. It's just that's not an option at the moment. And Heffa can play Savage Wolf. So I think probably the ideal situation for Mogwai here is that he passes, and then Heffa plays, well, no. If he plays Savage Wolf, that will actually redirect the arrow, which would be really, really good for him. Yeah, so that's going to spare the 2 armor on Bristleback and save the Lycan from certain death. And here we're going to see the hipfire, right? You got to keep that Debbie alive. You got to kill off that Sorla. So, of course, makes sense. Pretty straightforward rounds 1 and 2, to be honest. So Mogwai can afford that Furline Mantle if he wants. He can also afford these other 2 items. Not sure if he's going to take them, though. And then we've got 3 heroes coming down. Oh my god, look at these options. Okay. What do we want to do here? Lane 1 is really pressured. If Mogwai wants to start winning back lane 1, he needs to commit pretty heavily to it now. I'd say no less than 2 heroes. Let me see. Satyr Duelist will not kill off the wolf. The only thing that will kill off the wolf at the moment is Phantom Assassin. And there's only a 33% chance she lands in front of the wolf. Yeah, and that's it. He doesn't really have any other answers. So it might be a good time to abandon lane 1 and just invest more heavily into the other lanes. Heffa looks like he has Debbie and Sorla coming down. I think I would probably put Debbie. I think I'd probably put one in the mid lane and one in the third lane, because you don't really need to put a hero in the first lane, just because lane 1's feeling pretty strong right now and you don't want to overinvest and lock all your heroes into a lane. So I'm guessing he's going to split the heroes. And as for Mogwai, I'm gonna guess he's gonna give up lane 1, but that's kind of a guess. He can still, it's still definitely winnable. I mean, when you got Phantom Assassin, there's really no such thing as an unwinnable lane, because you can always just kill off all the heroes in there. Yeah, so he's still got a dog in that fight, a horse in that race. He thinks he can pull it back, and if Phantom Assassin lands in front of the wolf, then that's actually quite likely. But with Debbie going over into lane 1, that has become slightly less likely. Nah, the Phantom Assassin lands in front of the Abaddon, which is bad news, because Abaddon is probably going to just go invulnerable, and it's not going to matter. Oh, he pulled a Slay. Okay, so let's talk about the options here. Slay is pretty tempting, though you could do the same thing with no accident plus the chin damage, assuming that Heffa doesn't have any way to heal up the wolf. The problem is you can't really do anything else. It's just the Slay or the no accident, and then maybe you could play an item, and that's about it. Actually, that's not true. You could Celemene's Favor this lane, which would give plus 4 mana, but you would only be able to use 2 of that. So that would put him at 3 mana total. So he could Celemene's Favor this lane and then play Slay or no accident. Satyr Duelist isn't really going to help much. Roseleaf Druid also isn't going to help much. They're just going to die to the Debbie, because that's where they have to drop. We might see Cloaks, though neither one of them really needs it at the moment, though you can never be too short against a black deck. As for Heffa, it's very likely we're going to see invulnerability on Abaddon to keep him safe from the Phantom Assassin. He could play just about any of these. He could, wow, he has a lot of options, actually. Assault, probably won't see Assault Ladders. We'll probably see either Rebel Decoy or another Savage Wolf. If he plays Rebel Decoy, he could save the Abaddon or the Wolf. So I think he's probably going to play the Rebel Decoy, just because it will give him the most options in keeping the maximum number of things safe, and it just gives him more flexibility moving forward. So I'm expecting a Rebel Decoy, but we'll see. I think the Celemene's Favor plus one of the black cards isn't a terrible choice. Honestly, I think Slay is fine here. I don't recall there being a lot of really, really big minions in Heffa's deck last time, so I think playing Slay on a 4/5 Wolf is perfectly reasonable. Mogwai didn't see any Thunderhide packs, Thunderhide alphas, so yeah, okay, there's that vulnerability. So there's no reason to expect, well, I don't want to say no reason. There's just, you can't necessarily know that there's going to be a bigger creep in Heffa's deck. So I think playing Slay on the Wolf here is fairly reasonable. The question is, does he want to play Celemene's Favor first? Actually, I think Roseleaf Druid will do it too. I think if he plays Roseleaf Druid, he would also have enough mana to play Slay, because the Roseleaf Druid gives +1 mana. No, he passes. It's just, it'll die to the Debbie. And the Debbie's already being blocked by creep, so there's no real need for it. The question is, does Mogwai not want to play anything in this lane, or is he just passing to see what Heffa does? Maybe he's just content with this board state. I'm kind of surprised. I would want to kill off that wolf. Though it's possible he's just expecting Chin to just trade with it over the course of 2 turns. There's another wolf. It's a good time to play no accident. If you still want this lane, it's a really... Nope. Wonder if Mogwai is having regrets about trying to take that lane. I'm surprised he didn't play no accident. Okay. So as soon as he moves his mouse, what are the plays here? Bristleback is getting the kill on that. The creep is getting the kill on that. Trainer Protector is taking a lot of damage. Mogwai can play Stonehall Elite in front of that creep, which would give it the free buff, which would be pretty nice. There aren't really any good slay targets. He could play the Satyr Duelist, so that could start growing. He could play Selemene's Favor, Roseleaf, so he can start investing into one of his lanes. I don't know. There's so many options here. Personally, I think I would Stonehall Elite in front of the creep just to give it that damage boost. And then in the third lane, man, it kind of stings to leave behind all this mana ramp. I'm really surprised he didn't play any of them in the first lane. Like, why did he not play Selemene's Favor in lane 1? From lane 1 into any of the lanes. Like, he missed out on that mana. Why didn't he use that mana to develop Selemene's Favor? That's really surprising. I do not understand his logic behind that at all. In fact, I think that was kind of a mistake. That was a mistake, actually. Why would you not want to spend your mana to get free mana in the future? That's actually a pretty beastly creep. 4 attack, 4 armor, and 2 health. It's super vulnerable to piercing, but I don't think there's any piercing in that deck. Oh, Slay. It's gone. Oh well. So long. It's one of the advantages of going second. Sure, you don't have initiative, but okay. So now we're going to see the Treant Protector go down due to that weapon being deployed. And Debbie, what are you doing, Debbie? Just smack into the tower. Debbie will make pretty short work of that tower by herself. So she doesn't really need too much support. In fact, last time Mogwai overinvested in an already won lane. So it looks like he's learned his lesson and is taking a slightly slower approach this time around. Sorla goes into lane 1. Looks like Hefa's going for a quick win in there. Oh, and the creep blocks Sorla. That is unlucky for Hefa. Okay, so what are the plays here? We can't see all those cards to the right, which is unfortunate. So he could Healing Salve on the Assassin. Phantom Assassin isn't going to make any difference. He could no accident the wolf to save Chin. He could slay the wolf. He could slay either wolf. He could coup de grace. Is coup de grace a good call? I'm not really sure. I think he could intimidate. Does he want to intimidate? I don't know. At this point, if I were Mogwai, I'd be kind of looking to pull out of this lane and then start trying to push into lanes 2 and 3. So what I think actually I might be considering is intimidating one of my own units into lane 2. Or just letting them die. Letting both of these units die so that they can come down into mid lane in 2 turns. Because this lane is really, really big, and you're going to have to invest a lot of cards into saving them. Meanwhile, Hefa, what can he play? He can play Rebel Decoy to save just about any unit he wants from combat. He can play Rebel Decoy to swap Sorla Khan out into a different position so that she can smack the tower for massive damage. Same thing with Debbie. You could swap out Debbie to hit the tower as well. Sister of the Veil. These are all kind of excessive plays. So I think what he's probably going to do is play Assault Ladders into this lane or the second lane because he doesn't really need to play cards to secure the position because he's already kind of winning his position. And Assault Ladders will help rush the game along so that he can secure that win. So I think we're probably going to see double Assault Ladders. But that's a guess. But honestly, if I think I were Mogwai, I think I'd be looking to pull out of this lane. This is a tough lane to win. You've got Debbie already winning lane 3. You've got Bristleback, who's a beast, prepared to win, or at least fight for lane 2. Heffa has 3 heroes invested in this lane. Of course, those heroes are Debbie and Sorla Khan, so that's a pretty fast clock. Now he's fighting for it. Okay, so that means we're probably going to see a healing salve on the Phantom Assassin now that the Treant Protector unit, I forget his name, Roseleaf Druid or something, is blocking Debbie's hit. Yeah, this is gonna be a tough fight. We need to see these wolves go down is what we really need to see. I think I would slay the wolf on the left and then let Chin kill the wolf on the right. Though the thing is, if you can keep Chin alive for just one turn, then okay. I was just about to say, if you can keep Chin alive for just one turn, then next turn his ability comes online. So that's actually that's smart actually. So he just needs to hold on for just a second long enough to steal that wolf, which is going to be pretty big next turn, and hopefully he can start swinging things in his favor. But for now, he's out of mana. So next turn, he'll basically have Chin plus Phantom Assassin. Oh, nope. Heffa knows what's happening. He wants Chin dead. So he's going to swap some hero-killing unit into Chin to ensure that he goes down. What hero would do that? Any hero could do that. Because even though Debbie and Sorla Khan can't kill off Chin by himself at full health with the healing salve, the Keenfolk Musket on Abaddon can finish him off from 10. So Debbie will deal 9 damage to Chin. So if the Rebel Decoy swaps with Debbie, Magai will have to play the healing salve onto Chin to save it, at which point Heffa just plays the Keenfolk Musket into Chin and puts him in lethal range, so he's going down. Yeah, this is exactly what's happening. So this forces Mogwai to use healing salve if he wants to try and keep him alive, but it's not going to save him because of that Keenfolk Musket. So that wolf is going to survive for 2 more turns, it looks like, on Heffa's side of the board. Is he going to salve? I don't know. It might not be worth it. And there's those assault ladders I was predicting. This is really smart play by Heffa. Okay, so Mogwai's done the math. He realizes that the salve isn't going to save Chin. He can't keep that unit alive. But what he can do is keep the Phantom Assassin alive, which is fantastic because she will kill off the Abaddon, and killing off the Abaddon is super difficult. So that, isn't the ideal scenario there. Okay, what's going on this lane? Bronze Legionnaire will not secure a kill. Well, it could onto Lycan. I was looking at Sorla Khan. Bronze Legionnaire would kill Lycan. Viscous Nasal Goo doesn't do Mogwai any good because there aren't any targets that are like taking damage, so the armor won't matter. Meanwhile, Heffa can play any of his cards. All right. So I think it kind of doesn't matter if he plays Bronze Legionnaire, because my guess is we're going to see a Divine Intervention save the Lycan. And if Mogwai doesn't play the Bronze Legionnaire, which seems like a mistake because this is the only lane where you can play Bronze Legionnaire anyway, so you may as well put him down. Then if Mogwai does put the Bronze Legionnaire down, then Heffa is probably going to Divine Intervention to save the Lycan, is my guess. Watching these matches is kind of turning me off to the tricolor decks. You're just so restricted in options. Having cards that you can only play in one lane at a time, and if that hero's dead you can't ever play them, really sucks. Of course, that one hero is Bristleback, so it's hard to kill Bristleback. He's not going down without a fight. So it's very likely you're going to be able to play those red cards in all fairness. So now Heffa is trying to figure out, would he rather play Divine Intervention? Yeah. I was about to say, would he rather play Divine Intervention and save the Lycan, or would he rather develop the Sister of the Veil and start trying to kill off units? But he opts to save the Lycan. Because if he had put the Sister of the Veil in front of, I guess, the creep. He could curve it in front of the bristleback, but that still wouldn't kill the bristleback. Even with the damage buff, if he'd put it next to Lycan, that would have been, I think Sister of the Veil is a 4/5, which would have put him at 6, which would have not been enough to kill that bristleback. And here, in theory, Debbie is going to slowly whittle away that tower, but those creep are slowing him down, slowing her down. Traveler's Cloak, okay. Heffa has purchased a Town Portal Scroll, which seems smart because that allows him to pull out of, one of these lanes he doesn't need anymore, like lane 1, that might go down fairly soon, so he picked that up when he could. Treant Protector probably won't go down to lane 3, there's no need. So either lane 1, try and win that lane back. Lane 2, try and secure that lane. The point is, Mogwai needs to start getting some damage into these towers. Debbie keeps getting stalled out by these creep. That's another turn blocked by Debbie. He might actually, now I think about it, he might actually want to put the Treant Protector into lane 3 because Debbie, while she is winning the lane, these creep are just slowing her down. So yeah, there we go. That's what I mean. The Treant Protector will help push that along. Because if these measly creep keep landing in front of Debbie, she's just never going to be able to kill that tower. Even though she does 9 damage to the tower. Okay. So, what are the plays here? He can only cast black cards. So he could play Coup de Grace on Sorla, which is expensive. He could slay the wolf. Probably the better play is Keenfolk Musket onto Phantom Assassin, then ping Sorla for 2. Of course, it's not going to matter because Heffa is going to cloak the Sorla. Mogwai might reasonably expect Phantom Assassin's Keenfolk Musket to not kill Sorla because health items and armor items are so popular. So the odds of him pinging Sorla and Sorla surviving are very low. So what he might actually want to do instead is ping the Rebel Decoy just to kill that off, keep this 2/4 Treant guy, forget his name, healthy, and get in a little bit of tower damage. That might be the better play. And I'm not sure if he wants to slay because next turn Chin's coming down, and then Chin can fairly safely get that wolf. It's a bit delayed, but not the end of the world. Meanwhile, Heffa also has black mana. He could Sisters of the Veil. It's not a bad choice. If he plays Sister all the way to the right, he can curve the Sister into Phantom Assassin, so Phantom Assassin won't survive the night. And he could also no accident the Phantom Assassin, hoping that 3 damage plus the 2 damage kills her off. But of course, Mogwai is also sitting on 2 items, and Heffa might assume that those are health or healing items, which in this case is not actually the case, but he might assume that anyways. But if he doesn't go for the Sister of the Veil, my guess is we will see... no, he went for Coup de Grace. And he lost Slay. Ooh, that stings a little bit. Okay, so in that case, since we lost the Slay, we are almost certainly going to see... what's it called? Chin come down in this lane next turn so that he can pick up that Savage Wolf and start actually winning this lane. Because that wolf is going to be even bigger next turn. And with that, all these units are down. So this is going to take off the Rebel Decoy, I suspect. Why not? Save a little bit of tower, save a little bit of creep damage and get in a little bit of tower damage. Okay, this lane, what's going on? The only card we can play is Viscous Nasal Goo, which we may as well play because we've got the mana for it. So why not? And Heffa has a ton of options. He could Aphotic Shield, but that doesn't actually matter in this situation. It's not going to make a difference. He could Sisters of the Veil. That's a pretty good option. I'm thinking you play Sisters of the Veil in front of the creep, curve the Sister of the Veil into Bristleback to ensure the Bristleback kill, and then you play. I guess that's it because you can't afford a 3 mana cost card. Right. Alternatively, you could. Yeah, I think that's the play. You wouldn't really want to play Disciple of Nevermore because things just aren't hitting the tower. Oh, I was mistaken. He doesn't opt for that. He just wants to go for the 20 Sorla damage to the tower. Oh my gosh. That's so much damage. That's insane. As Mogwai, I feel like you may as well Viscous Nasal Goo. You can only cast her from this lane. Why not, man? I guess in theory you could wait until you find a better target for it, but I don't know. Is it really going to matter? And Heffa is confident that he's got this lane locked down. And indeed, he does. And then in the third lane, Treant Protector is helping Debbie finally make a little bit of progress with this lane. Please play Salamini's Favor. You've been holding onto that card for so long. You've got to do something with it. I say play it in lane 1 to set up for next turn. Get out an Unearthed Secrets too. He's passing. Why is he not playing Salamini's Favor? I don't understand. I don't get that at all. You've got the card. You've got the mana. It doesn't hurt you to play it. Why is he doing that? This is really confusing. Chin almost certainly, I'm guessing, going into lane 1 because that wolf is huge. Lane 3 is okay. Oof. Heffa is ensuring that Mogwai is really going to have to fight for... Oh no, he changed his mind. He's trying to figure out what he wants to do. He has to stall one of the other lanes. In theory. The question is which. Yeah, okay, so he opts for lane 1. So he's given up lane 3, which makes sense. Chin, okay, so Chin's going to steal this wolf. That's one thing that's definitely going to happen. Let's see what gets drawn. Coup de grace. Okay. What's the play? I think stealing the wolf plus Hand of God doesn't seem like a terrible play. Intimidation also wouldn't be that bad, especially if the unit goes into lane 3, because the lane 3 heroes could fairly reasonably kill off that hero. Coup de grace, who would you coup de grace? Probably the Abaddon, because the Abaddon is going to be so hard to kill without that card. Meanwhile, Heffa could also intimidate. Intimidate is so risky. Aphotic Shield. There's so many options. Wow, what's the play here? What does Mogwai want to do? What's the best play? If he steals the wolf is going to go to, I believe, one of the sides. And if he plays Hand of God, that will heal up the Phantom Assassin, keep her alive. But she's not going to kill the Abaddon because Abaddon has the shield. The wolf is going to get in some tower damage, but it's not really going to make a difference because the tower is so healthy. It's going to save those 2 creep, which protects your tower, which is good. If you coup de grace, you'd have 2 mana left over, which means you can't play anything else. If you have 7 mana, you could intimidate, but you don't have anything else to play. You could Satyr Duelist plus Unearthed Secret, but that's not really going to help you that much. I think the play is Hand of God. I think that's what I would do. And then next turn, start making the big plays with coup de grace and something else. I really feel like he should have played Salamini's Favor into this lane. And Heffa, what is Heffa's play? If he plays Intimidate, he can move a unit into lane 3, which would be good for him because he kind of doesn't care about lane 3 anymore. He could also move into lane 2, which might actually be bad for him. Sisters of the Veil would not kill the Chin. Aphotic Shield might not be a terrible option. It's not a great option either. I think I would probably play the Keenfolk Musket and the Assault Ladders. Just Oh man, if he had initiative, he could intimidate the Chin out before the wolf got taken, but he doesn't have initiative. This is tough. This is complicated. I'm actually really curious to see what Heffa's going to do, because I don't know what play I would make in this scenario. If I had initiative, I would definitely intimidate out the Chin to save my wolf. Past that, I don't know. Keenfolk turret is looking pretty tempting because you can use it to kill off the Phantom Assassin. He doesn't know about the Hand of God. He can somewhat reasonably expect it because, I mean, Mogwai's got 8 mana and a Chin in his deck, so he knows there's 3 Hand of Gods in there. Mogwai's thinking hard. He passed. He's not doing anything. You're not even going to pick up the wolf? Did he want the Phantom Assassin to die? I don't know what Mogwai is doing this game. Why did he do that? Why is he refusing to play Selimine's favor? Why did he not steal the wolf when he had the chance? All right, so Joel Larson's is the winner. Heffa. Congrats to him. I don't want to disparage Mogwai, because clearly the fact that he came into the final match up against Joel Larson means that he's a very good player, and I'm sure he's a very good player, but I honestly have no idea why he made those plays that he did. Why did he not steal the wolf when he had the chance? Why did he not play Selimine's favor when he had free mana? Why did he keep passing when he had mana? I don't get it. There were several turns when he had he had full mana and he could have played an improvement into any lane that he wanted, and he passed. And that's usually like the golden rule with improvements, is you play them as soon as possible so you can start getting value out of them. If he had more mana in lane 1, he might have had the mana he needed. So I don't really get what happened that match. Maybe I'm missing something. Anyways, let me know what you think about the video. Let me know what you think about this match. Thank you so much for watching. Dabacab out.